Tonight on Joy News Prime, IGP announces 10,000 cedis reward for information leading to the arrest of suspected robbers who shot and killed a police officer at Mankesim in the central region. At Sekondi in the western region, the father of one of the girls kidnapped and later declared dead last year physically attacked the main suspect in the crime after a court hearing.
Before the elections, I kind of you will see. How many years?
Another one of the fathers who lost a daughter has also revised his earlier stance that the child is dead.
They don't want to do anything to help us, only to make it a cover up. That is why they brought those bones to tell us that the children are dead. All this, I've realized that it's only a cover up that they are doing.
Defense Minister explains ground incident involving a Ghana Air Force plane which ran into a ditch at the Air Force base here in Accra, insisting there was no intention to fly the plane.
That was fine. Just a normal engine routine test that they normally would do, and then the aircraft moved, and it was difficult to stop it.
In business,
government statistician calls for more investment into the statistical service to generate quality data for decision making.
Ghana Statistical Service over the period has relied on donor funds in running most of our surveys and censuses. The need to invest in data is at its critical moment.
And as Joy News launches a road safety campaign to reduce the carnage on the country's roads, I share with you a short video explaining why speed limits are extremely important. I'm Israel I, and Joy News Prime comes to you live from the Joy News studio at Kokomlele here in Accra with digital address GA09925539. Stay tuned in. We start off in Sekondi, where there was drama at the High Court on Wednesday when the father of one of the three murdered Takoradi girls attacked suspect Samuel Udisuk Wales after the hearing. Frustrated by the frequent adjournment, the father of Priscilla Blessing Bentum physically attacked the suspect and had to be restrained by some family members. The two suspects, John Oji and Sam Udisuk Wales, were quickly whisked away by police officers who were present. There's more in this report.
Speaking to Joy News after the incident, Francis Bentum said the slow pace at which the case was being handled is frustrating and depressing. He said he doesn't mind sacrificing his life for the return of the girls.
Before the elections, I kind of you will see. How many years? You want to see?
State Attorney Adelaide Kobri Wood pleaded the court adjourns the case because they were yet to receive documents from the investigator handling the case. She said those documents would be presented to their office by the investigators by close of the week. Adelaide Kobri Wood also explained the documents were very crucial and would help to begin other proceedings in another court. The plea that was approved by presiding judge Justice Hannah Taylor. Father of Priscilla Mantibia Kranchi, who has initially accepted the DNA report from the police, speaking to Joy News, said he was deceived in accepting the result.
They don't want to do anything to help us, only to make it a cover up. That is why they brought those bones to tell us that the children are dead. All this, I've realized that it's only a cover up that they are doing.
But initially you have accepted the fact that your daughter is dead.
The president called me. So if the whole president to the nation is a liar, the president called me and consoled me. What do you want me to do? So I accepted it. But from the look of things, I've seen that they are just praying without motion.
Nanajua Quayson, sister of Ruth Love Quayson, was short of words at this time.
The way they are treating this case is very bad because I quite remember on the 11th of December when we came here, they told us that they've done a new test and a new development has come on. So they are pleading for another date so that the new development that it has come, they will know what to say about it. But we came here, it's been 1 month, 11 days now, and they are still telling us that they've not received a report from the new development. I mean, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what is going on again.
Well, what do you want to say to, those who are in charge of this case?
Oh, as for me, what I would say is that whatever they are doing, they should remember that we are just travelers on this earth. One day we will all go. So what they are doing to the family, if it is fair, it's up to them. God is watching them. That's what I can say.
Thank you. What actually happened?
The case has been adjourned to February 5, 2019.
Health Minister Kukwa Jumamenu says government is dissatisfied with the performance of the National Health Insurance Authority as reimbursement of claims continue to delay. He says his personal enthusiasm in the scheme has dipped because of difficulties in getting funds to pay claims. Various service providers have repeatedly withdrawn services to NHIS cardholders because of non-payment by NHIA. The minister, however, says work is ongoing to revamp the scheme this year. He has been speaking with Evans Mensah in an interview to be aired on PM Express later this evening.
I was getting very enthused sometime last year when the numbers that I was seeing about reimbursement arrears was reducing and it went so down. You know, getting close to December, I was telling the president that if what he himself and me and the finance minister sat down to agree on, if we could get funds to move, right, by close to the year, providers wouldn't complain about arrears at all. Unfortunately, you know, the finance ministry has got challenges all the time. We couldn't get what we were supposed to be given, and therefore we were halted somewhat. And that is what made me fall back, with my enthusiasm going down a bit. But this year I'm very optimistic. You know, if you're able to do claims up to the point of only 3 months arrears, we are online, because the law allows us to do that. But we inherited close about 12 months. Now we have about 6 months in the race effectively. And I think it is good, but it's not up to the point where my president will be satisfied with. He's pushing us. And I believe by close of this year, we might move closer. Again, there are inefficiencies. I will call them programmatic. You know, in some areas, you will come across some providers who haven't been paid for a very long time, isolated cases. Then you try to find out what is happening. Some providers are not giving us very efficient numbers in terms of their claims. So it makes their work a bit difficult for us to actually move on.
Jumamenu has also confirmed President Akufo-Addo will next week Tuesday officially hand over more than 300 ambulances imported for all constituencies. He insists the delay in distribution was to ensure the ambulances have been adequately equipped before they are handed over.
On the 28th of this month, the President will commission the entire policy, his vision, that he wants to ensure that he is improving on pre-hospital care, emergency medicine. And I think that is the first step forward to try to improve ambulance service, to be able to carry people.
Truly, will every constituency have one?
We're overwhelming. We have brought in 307 ambulances. We have 270-something constituencies. So every single one will have one.
Why do you have to wait for the fanfare of the commissioning before we let them go?
Evans, I think I addressed this issue on one of your sister stations. We are not waiting for any fanfare. When you are not ready, you are not ready. The fact that ambulances have arrived, we have cleared them, we have put them there, wouldn't mean that we are ready to move. There are a few other things that we have to do to let the ambulances go.
Such as?
We have said that we wouldn't want ambulances go around searching for locations without any guide. Fortunately, now there is technology that can take an ambulance and its driver right to a location where people are sitting calling the ambulance. We are putting each of them tablets that will drive on GPS. With the digital address system that we have now, you don't need asking anybody where is the mango tree sitting in this area. As simple as this. That we needed the ambulances first to put them in, because that is an extra accessory we're going to put in the vehicle. We want to track where the ambulances will be. The tracking system is not part of the component for the supplier to come and body the ambulance. So when they arrive here, we may then need the contractor who is going to fix these things, put them in. We are just not ready. And we wouldn't allow unnecessary criticisms to push us to do things haphazardly.
Now, emergency health care in the Wutu Senya municipality gets a major boost following the purchase of 2 ambulances by the Sanford World Clinic in Kaswa. The move seeks to either reduce or end preventable deaths recorded as a result of delayed emergency response. Matilda Gavi has more in the following report.
For health practitioners serving the over 150,000 people within the Kasoa enclave, the arrival of new ambulances couldn't have come at a better time. A number of lives have been lost due to lack of ambulances to transport them to hospital on time for emergency treatment. Many expectant mothers, according to the Ghana Health Service, have died with their babies in their wombs due to delayed labor as a result of lack of ambulances to transport such expectant mothers to the hospital. Acting Municipal Director of Health Service at Ewutu Senya, Dr. Jani Edu, shares the harrowing stories of some preventable deaths due to the absence of ambulances.
So I tell a story of one of our doctors who had to refer a woman who was been married for about 6 years without a child. She finally gets this pregnant, and she goes into labor, was in Kasoa, comes to a polyclinic. She's rightly assessed. We know that she needs a surgery immediately, and everybody's ready. But the ambulance is 700 place, and she has to be held up until the ambulance comes. And then when she gets into the theater table, finding at the referral points, the baby is lost. The doctors are depressed, the nurses are crying, the family is broken. It has a long-term consequence. There are several more gruesome stories. Recently, I went to the polyclinic, 2 road traffic accident cases. One has an ambulance, the other doesn't have an ambulance. One has a head injury, the other has internal bleeding. Who would you let to go into it? So as a medical practitioner, you go through a lot of stress dealing with all of these things, which could easily be solved.
The 2 ambulances purchased by a private health facility, Sanford World Clinic in Kasoa, will help the healthcare needs of people living within Ewutu Senya municipality. Dr. Benjamin Taylor is executive president of Sanford World Clinic.
The ambulances because we had expanded our medical services to include 24/7 maternity care, and so it was a natural extension of the services. We also realized that the population in the Kasoa area has aged. As a result of that, the need for an emergency vehicle becomes very important. And so we thought that having the ambulance here will help us. We're also not that far from the road, and there are a lot of accidents that happens by the roadside. And so having the ambulance allows us the opportunity to be much more mobile and then also agile and faster in getting the people to referral hospitals.
Meanwhile, the Ewutu Senya East municipality has hinted of taking delivery of 3 more ambulances to boost emergency response within the area. Chief Executive Michael Esuman Mensah says the 3 ambulances will be delivered on Tuesday.
Luckily, by Tuesday, we'll have 3 more ambulances.
From where?
From the Ministry of Special Development Initiatives, which the minister is the MP of this area, Honorable Mebisa Akomsi. What she has promised and she intends doing is to give, the ambulances are more than the 275 constituencies, and it's 1 constituency, 1 ambulance, and so after which there will be some surplus. Some of them are going into hospitals and polyclinics, and thankfully our polyclinic has qualified for 1. And so we'll have the constituency ambulance, and then we'll have the polyclinic ambulance, all coming from the same ministry. And then the National Ambulance Service have also come. We have given them an office, and so on Tuesday they will also give us an extra ambulance so that we can locate that one at Ofago.
For Joy News, Matilda Gavi.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but still ahead in the bulletin, the IGP has announced 10,000 cedis reward for information leading to the arrest of suspected robbers who shot and killed a police officer at Mankasim in the central region. The Minister of Defense has explained a ground incident involving a Ghana Air Force plane which ran into a ditch at the Air Force base here in Accra, insisting there was no intention to fly the plane.
Qatar was fine. Just a normal engine routine test that they normally would do, and then the aircraft moved, and there were difficulties.
And as Joy News launches a road safety campaign to reduce the carnage on the country's roads, I'll share with you a short video explaining why speed limits are extremely important. Stay tuned in, we're back in a bit. It was an accident that left him with severe leg injuries and feeling extremely fortunate to have survived and able to walk again. Deputy Communications Minister George Anda spent 14 days at the 37 Military Hospital after his vehicle was involved in a head-on collision with a tipper truck in the Wutu Senya West constituency of the Central Region. Other occupants of his vehicle suffered various injuries. At the launch of Joy News' road safety campaign Arrive Alive, Mr. Anda shared his story on the Super Morning Show.
You have all my support. I mean, I am fully on board this campaign. Any role that you want me to play, I will play. But I think that there are a number of things. First is the education of drivers. We need to make sure that all drivers are educated. I mean, it's not just about you who's driving being careful, but it's also about the other driver. There's also the issue of emergency responses. I mean, when accidents like this happen, sometimes in the way people are carried, it even makes it more complicated. And one aspect that we probably know that is also the situation where people that are physically challenged go through. I mean, I have been through quite a lot of things that I took for granted when I was fully able, since I have had this challenge. I mean, even traveling, it's a bit of a problem. Walking upstairs, I mean, when in places that don't have lifts, looking for parking. And I think that these are things that we need to take a bit more seriously. I remember I were once in Parliament in a committee meeting, and then the fire alarm went off, and I was extremely stranded because you couldn't use a lift when the fire was out. So I had to go and stand on some corridor, and if indeed that was going to be a proper fire, you could imagine what would have happened. So some of all these situations must be addressed, not just because of an accident, but because we need to prepare properly for these situations.
Now, Joy News' Arrive Alive road safety campaign comes in the wake of the deadly crash in the Central Region, which claimed 34 lives, including that of an 8-month-old baby. That figure, though, is a fraction of the 2,000 lives lost each year to road accidents. My colleague Roland Walker Wednesday visited the VIP bus station here in Accra to interact with passengers and drivers on safety on our roads.
The road is very important. We have bad road. We have bad road. We have bad road.
You feel that is also a contributory factor?
One.
Not the human error?
No, the road is one of the bigger factor.
Why do you take the, maybe not only VIP, but the long buses, etc.? What's the first decision point for you?
I actually don't consider. I take anything which is available.
Anything goes for you?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, but are you aware about yourself, road safety issues, etc., when you're as a passenger? Are you conscious?
Yeah, definitely. It's the first thing you have to consider when taking a bus.
Okay. So what usually are you conscious of? Not only the bus, but maybe the trotro, etc.
Like, example, for taking this VIP bus, I think it's more safe. And also, when you see the appearance of the bus, you have to know whether it's more safe to take it or not. And I think VIP generally is a good bus to take. Yeah.
I'm not you only related. You've taken many commercial vehicles up to now, so I'm sure just your general perception. But look, sometimes you can see a very well sprayed or decorated commercial bus. They say, don't mind the body, mind the engine. Is that something that rings in your mind?
Yeah, that is something difficult to also know, because mostly we just watch the appearance of the bus.
So what if a driver is speeding?
Okay, in this case, I think you have to find a way to let the driver know.
But in other stories, the Inspector General of Police, James Opong Bueno, has announced a 10,000 Ghana cedis reward to any person who gives credible information leading to the arrest of suspected robbers who shot and killed a police officer and wounded 2 others at Mankesim. According to residents, a plainclothes officer identified as Lance Corporal Kingsley Boahin was shot by robbers who had earlier engaged some other police officers in a gun battle at a Zen filling station where a robbery was taking place. Join us as Richard Kwejunyako has more.
The Mankasim Divisional Patrol Team says they received a distress call from residents of Mankasim of an ongoing robbery at the Zen filling station at Mankasim. The armed robbers engaged in a fierce gun battle with the police when the patrol team got to the scene. 2 police officers got injured in the ensuing gun battle and were rushed to the Mercy Hospital at Mankasim. The robbers, sensing danger, retreated. At dawn on Wednesday, gunshots were heard at the same area where the robbery took place. According to the police, they rushed to the scene only to find a colleague, Lance Corporal Kingsley Boahen, in a pool of blood. He is suspected to have been shot by the robbers. IGP James Opombuenu and the Central Regional Police Commander, COP Paul Awini, visited the scene of the incident today. Here is IGP James Opombuenu.
First of all, we came down from Accra. My team made up of other members of the Police Management Board. I've come to Mankasim in reaction to the incident that happened this morning. And we have noticed that one officer has been shot dead and 2 others are injured. They are on admission now. They are being worked on by the doctors. And we visited both scenes of crime. Investigation is being carried out. We have had an initial crime scene and another crime scene team has arrived from Accra to beef up and support the original crime scene that is here. So as time goes on and as the investigation proceeds, whatever we get, we will let Ghanaians know. We have to wish the injured officers a speedy recovery, and to the family of the deceased police officer and to his colleagues, I express the police administration's condolences.
MP for Infantiman called Kwanzaa Hayford hints of some measures to curb the spate of shooting and armed robbery in the area. He assures residents that the security of the area is under control.
First of all, let me express my deepest condolence to the bereaved family. In fact, today has been a very sad day for the good people of Mankasim. This is the second time we have lost a security personnel through shooting. And what happened yesterday, I think it's a wake-up call on us to ensure that security is a shared responsibility. And if you look at the time the incident took place, then of course it raises source of concern. So the municipal chief executive, together with the security couples here, we are going to intensify our security measures, especially on spot areas we've identified where criminals have been committing who knows crimes. Well, I want to assure the citizens of Mankasim that the situation is under control. This is isolated and one-off case. I want to assure the good people that they should not panic. We are going to beef up security, and I'm happy that the Inspector General of Police himself was here together with the entire High Police Command. It goes to confirm that much will be done. So I want to assure the citizens that they shouldn't panic at all.
The IGP has thus announced a reward package of 10,000 Ghana cedis on whoever gives the police information leading to the arrest of the robbers. Meanwhile, the police are on a hunt for the armed robbery suspect while they intensify their investigations. Richard Kwejenya Akon, Joy News, Mankasim.
Still to come in business, government statistician calls for more investment into the statistical service to generate quality data for decision making.
Ghana Statistical Service over the period has relied on donor funds in running most of our surveys and censuses. The need to invest in data is at its critical moment.
It's time for business. Sandra is here. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, we are going to the statistical service. They don't have money for data collection.
Okay, well, they don't have enough money. as much money as
donor support, not from government.
All right, take it away.
Right. I am Sandra Esinam and I'm here for business. Government statistician Professor Samuel Enim is calling for more investment into the statistical service to help provide quality data for the country's decision making. According to him, the service has relied on donor support over the years, adding it's about time the government steps in. Professor Samuel Enim was speaking at the launch of the Ghana Statistical Service Corporate Plan for 2020 and 2024 in Accra.
The Ghana Statistical Service Corporate Plan for 2020 to 2024 is hinged on 5 key goals, including the development of human resource, mobilization of financial resource, full integration of ICT in operations of the Statistical Service, as well as improving the production of statistics and its use for planning. Speaking to Joy Business, government statistician Samuel Enim stressed on the need for more investment to support activities of the service.
We put emphasis on mobilizing resources to conduct our core mandate. Ghana Statistical Service over the period has relied on donor funds in running most of our surveys and censuses. The need to invest in data is at its critical moment, and this is where we're counting on the government to relook at the investments that we put in statistics, because statistics is a national asset, statistics is a treasure. So our core mandates such as inflation, GDP, and all the rudimentary statistics that is needed to run this country has to be identified and accordingly invested into.
President of the International Association for Official Statistics, John Pulinga, says government investing into quality data is crucial for economic development.
If you don't know, there are pressures on prices building in the supply chain because commodity prices are going up. You are taken by surprise when suddenly prices at the petrol pumps or prices in the shops are increasing. If the government gets early warning of some of these changes and early warning of the scale of those changes, it can take action. It can take action on interest rates, it can take action on taxation policy. And that's got to be something that's going to help businesses in the future. And prices is just one example. If you're thinking where you want to locate a shop or an office, where are the workers going to come from? How will they get there? Statistics will give you that information also. When you think of it that way, you realise that statistics are really everywhere in our thinking. And the key point is if we improve those statistics, our thinking can also be improved, and then businesses and the government can make better choices.
For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
A military aircraft on Tuesday overran the apron and crashed into the grass parchment at the Air Force base here in Accra. The incident occurred around 11 a.m. during a routine engine run at the base. A statement from the Ghana Armed Forces has confirmed. The Armed Forces said it has constituted a preliminary investigation team to look into the incident and issue a report within 48 hours. Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwul has been explaining what led to the ground incident.
Aircraft incident, whatever it is, you will normally investigate. It's a standard procedure. You will normally do what we call preliminary investigation. After that, if it demands to do thorough investigation, then that will be done. But the preliminary investigation will give you the indicators the indication whether to go ahead to do the full scale investigation or not. And so we're waiting for the preliminary investigation. The incident happened yesterday, and so we are hoping that by tomorrow we'll get the first information as to what really happened, and it will give us an idea about whether to go ahead or not to proceed. But like I said, it was important to assure the general public that everything is under control. The Air Force are okay, everybody is okay, and so the public should not worry so much. This is not an aircraft that was flying. It's just a normal engine routine test that they normally would do, and then the aircraft moved, and there were difficulties stopping it.
Okay.
But that investigation will lead to why the pilots couldn't stop it immediately, because it's important to let the public know that everything is under control and that it is not a normal crash that people are speculating.
Now, Now, as our sister station Joy FM and the Multimedia Group celebrates 25 years of broadcasting excellence, we hear from some of the millions of listeners, such as Eugene Oseakoto, whose listenership has contributed to making what the station is today. Being the man in charge of customer services at the La Paz Community Hospital, he tells Joy News his day since 1996 always begins and ends with Joy 99.7 FM. Eugene names his all-time favorite presenter as host of Cosmopolitan Mix, Doreen Ando, adding the station has also offered great education to him. Maxwell Agawa has been speaking with him.
I've listened to Joy FM from 1996 way down till date. Every morning my dial is on Joy 99.7 FM, the super hits radio. Yeah. I started from the days of Tomian and Forsen to Komla and Sonny Deka. From Sonny Deka to Kojo and Atokwam Nadazi. It was really superb listening to them those days. And now I think that Nadazi and Kojo Yangsen and Nimwado, they are also doing marvelous. Yeah. So I believe that the brand Joy, for the past 25 years, they've been on top. It shifts me up in the morning before I step out of my room. I listen to the 6 o'clock news. By 6:15, I'm out of home. I listen in the car before I get to the office. And I think it shifts me up every morning. I learn a lot from them before I hit town every morning. And they brighten my morning every morning after the 6 o'clock news, and I'm ready to go. Azigiza, Joy B Jam, Nananum, Joy B Jam. Then from the days of Zigzag, then the Heavy D came in. No, I think from Heavy D, then Zigzag took over from the Joy B Jam. Then DJ Black made it big, and it was actually a boom. Then when he dropped his bomb, boom, 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 boom. It was really a plus. So the Joy B Jam is one of the program I love after church. That Sunday afternoon, I listened to Joy B Jam, and it was on point. Now the open house party that he starts on Friday, I think he's going somewhere, and then I think you are now with Labadi Beach Hotel, where you go to the Lagoon Bar to fake out on Friday evenings, which is also I think is a plus for Joy FM. At least you are moving to town for us now. And then I missed the last show, that is the 90s Jam. I really missed, but I was in bed, and I wish I could fly to the place. That is the open top at Silver Star. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Wow, yeah. So I'm somebody I'm always with Joy. I know what goes on. Wow. I think what is missing now is the old school reunion, which you introduced. But I think it got to a point where it became so big. But let's see something new that Joy will bring on board again. Okay. So the next 25 years, if we are all alive, I know they will go the extra mile again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for Joy now, I will go for Kojo Yangsen. Kojo Yangsen and Daniel Dazi. For now, they are doing very well. But I give it all to Doreen. Yeah, for somebody to be with for the 25 years, it's not easy. I give it all to Doreen. Yeah.
All right, it's certain that this gentleman, Eugene, he knows so much about Joy 99.7 FM. If you're one of those people who is crazy about the station or knows so much about the station, or you know someone who knows so much or is such a loyal listener, you can hit me up, send me a message on my Facebook page, and I'd like to meet people like that. Moving on, pro-MPP pressure group Let My Vote Count Alliance has endorsed plans by the Electoral Commission to compile a new voters register, saying it is long overdue. The group, which staged a series of demonstrations in 2015 calling for the compilation of a new register, describes as poor the work done after the Supreme Court order in 2013 for a cleanup of the electoral roll. Speaking at the news conference in the Ashanti region capital, Kumasi, convener David Asante said the new register will bring meaning to injuries suffered by some members during the demonstration. Nanea Ojima has more.
The group believes the current register, compiled in 2012, has deficiency, hence the call for a new register. David Asante says an order by Supreme Court to erase some names from the register was not thoroughly done.
In the case of Abu Ramadan and Ivan Simakon, members of the Let My Vote Count Alliance who took the matter to court, the Electoral Commission was instructed by the Supreme Court of Ghana to clean the register of over 4 million names of Ghanaian citizens who use National Health Insurance card to register to get their names into the electoral register. Up to date, the Electoral Commission of Ghana has not done so. The EC did not even clean up to 4,000 names of National Health Insurance card holders on the register. Are we still calling this register a good and credible one without fault, with which we want to approach a serious election like 2020 election?
Mr. Asante recalls how the demonstration embarked on by the group was marred with police brutality, causing damage to a member in the eye. He and one other have subsequently lost their lives. Mr. Asante believes a new voter register is enough to compensate for the toil.
Today, we are gathered here not to call for a new voters register, but to commend the EC for finally corroborating our long-held position of the need to compile a new voters register. The souls of our two brothers, Justice Adakuma and Ernest, will be happy because what they fought for, credible election through the compilation of credible voters register. Today, the EC, who said it was not expedient to compile one then, is saying today it is very important and expedient to go ahead to compile a new voters register.
Meanwhile, chairman of the NPP in the Ashanti region, Bernard Entribo-Siako, wants pressure groups and political parties to allow the EC enjoy its independence in exercising its mandate. He believes Tuesday's action by the intra-party resistance against new register was a flop. The 6 political parties could not pull up to 700 people, in my opinion. Everything shows people are not interested in their cause. They have been lying about the numbers that showed up all this while. It was a failure, and that's why they have stopped their demonstrations.
Ashanti region, now say in Nikumasi, so you need 10,000, you need 20,000, and you do all more.
The Electoral Commission is courting the collaboration of stakeholders in the electoral process to ensure a peaceful and violence-free vote in December. The Commission believes key roles by these unidentifiable groups will ensure the process is free and fair, in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 16, which aims, among others, to reduce violence and promote peace around the world. An acting director at the EC, Alexander Poku Ekubia, told a stakeholder forum in Accra the media, security agencies, rights groups and the like must step up to the plate and play their roles. Komla Dong was there for Joy News.
With a huge cloud of controversy hanging over the compilation of a new voters register, the Electoral Commission says it is poised to conduct a free, transparent and fair election. But the Commission says it can only do this with the collaboration of stakeholders. The political parties are the first target. At a forum organized by the Ibibimang Foundation in collaboration with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, the Commission urged the parties to, among other things, conduct clean campaigns and disband vigilante groups as the 2020 election approaches.
The electoral arrangement procedures must be transparent. This is necessary for purposes of preventing fraud and cheating. The candidate contesting election must be free to conduct their campaign in an atmosphere of peace, and they must have adequate resources to do so. Again, the election law must be fair to all. Any person with the requisite qualification can stand as a candidate.
Acting Director at the Commission, Alexander Poku Ekubia, believes active stakeholder participation will be key in achieving the aim of attaining Sustainable Development Goal 16 on minimizing electoral violence across the world.
The other actors also have a role to play so that in doing so, we can achieve a national integration of our societies and the general development of Ghana in a shared and collective responsibility of all stakeholders.
With memories of Ayawaso West Wogon by-elections and the associated violence still fresh on the minds of many, the National Peace Council is urging the security agencies to rise up to the occasion and ensure the December 2020 process is incident-free. George Amu is member of the council.
The police, I think a few months ago, some vehicles have been given. Hope that more support will come the way of the police and other agencies to help them really prepare adequately to avert anything that would disturb the peace of this country. I think it's also important that the judiciary also gets themselves well prepared to help us have a very peaceful elections before, during, and after the 2020 elections.
Meanwhile, the council says it will in the coming weeks issue documents with the collaboration of the political parties to supplement the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act. The documents, according to the council, will prescribe the roadmap and also provide some guidelines which will shape activities of political parties and their activities in order to stamp out vigilantism.
The law is there. But when we are talking about, peace issues, it's not so much the acts that you pass. How do you encourage people to be law-abiding? And the two documents that we have come up with and the dialogue that we have had is intended to promote that. It's not just limited to the two parties. There are people who have other things that they need to do to ensure that the Act 999 that we have talked about becomes a reality. Otherwise, you can have it in the books, but when it comes to the implementation, it becomes something else. We are not there to say that the law says this. There's a law against armed robbery, but you don't just sit back and think that because there's a law against armed robbery, there wouldn't be armed robbery. You need to take steps to ensure that that law functions, and that's what the document is all about.
Organizers of the forum, the Ibibiman Journey for Development, believe the forum can be a starting point to rally all the stakeholders towards a common goal. Kwabena Okanyufusuhene is founder of Ibibiman Global.
Ghanaians must sit up. What is it that political parties want? Are they in the interest of the people, or they are interested in their own agenda? Because if the parties are interested in what the people want, then wherever the people call them, they should try as much as possible. It may happen that they may not be interested in what is going on, but as stakeholders, they have to avail themselves for us to know what they want. Today is the first time we heard that the EC is ready to implement the ROPA. But then there was no political party to ask relevant questions.
The forum was under the theme Towards Election 2020 in Ghana and its implications on the SDGs and development.
Members of the Upper East Regional Inter-Party Resistance against the compilation of a new voters register Wednesday picketed the regional office of the Electoral Commission at Bolgatanga. The group was protesting against the EC chairperson's decision to compile a new voters register. Though the protest was not well attended, the group led by the Upper East Regional Secretary of the NDC, Donatus Kamugri, wielded placards with various inscriptions to register their displeasure and call for the abolition of the new voters register. They presented a petition to officials of the Electoral Commission at Bolgatanga and later addressed the media. Here's NDC's Upper East Regional Secretary Donatus Kamugri and other members of the party speaking with Joy News.
When you see the numbers and you think that the numbers are not encouraging, it's because of the dictate and the command given to our party leadership nationally. That's why you are seeing this crowd. If not, this place, right down to Bolga Township, you wouldn't have had any way to pass because people are very angry. One, the reason is that Jay Mensah, when she was the IEA boss, 2015, she made a declaration and in fact a submission after the 2012 presidential and then the election petition that there should not be a compilation of a register in an election year because the political parties concerned will not have the time to be able to move to the field and mobilize and be able to participate properly while they are contesting.
In July 2019, less than 8 months ago, the EC opened a limited registration and registered people. Those who had turned 18, they registered all of them, or most of them. Didn't the EC know that the register is old at that time? Didn't they know that it needed to be revised? Didn't the EC know that in 2020 we'll have general elections? Why did they add on to the old one? Didn't they spend money in compiling that limited registration? That is a waste of public funds.
Starting today, January 22, 2020, Ghanaian security agencies can collaborate more efficiently to protect the country's entry point. A new Border Security Fusion Center has been set up to allow the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Immigration Service, and BNI and others involved in air, land and maritime security to properly coordinate their border security efforts. For over a month last year, Joy News produced a series revealing the porous nature of Ghana's borders. The creation of a Border Fusion Center is under the auspices of the Security Governance Initiative, a partnership between the American and Ghanaian governments. Head of Security Desk, Gifty Andwapia, has been interacting with Defense Minister Dominic Nitowell, who says this intervention will bridge a major gap in Ghana's security infrastructure. Here's why.
A Fusion Center, as the word suggests, you will know, is to bring together all the various agencies. We have about 8 to 9 agencies under which this Fusion Center will serve. So BNI, research, defense intelligence, the police, the immigration, customs division of the GRA. They're supposed to all come together in a room to ensure that when something happens in any part of the border, they are able to pick it up, relay it for quick decisions to be made. Because you don't want a situation whereby the BNI picks up something the police are supposed to do immediately, and then it's difficult to relay information. So that gap between getting the information and taking action will be shortened, and they are expected to work 24/7. So basically, it will speed up the response time, and the more you get intelligence and act very fast, the better for you. Because if you were to wait for a terrorist act to happen, then you are failed.
What is in this office that will facilitate this coordination?
It's a start. It's a start. They should be able to communicate around the country by what they have. They have cameras, they have the screens that they can see and monitor, they have all the monitors, they have the gadgets that they are able to see and do whatever is going on. So it's also a good thing, because at the end of the day, it sends positive signals to the people of Ghana that, look, the security is on top of whatever they are doing, and even enhancing their collaboration to make sure that effectively they can wipe out any threat that comes to this country.
So this includes the Army, because you mentioned that those in charge of security, maritime and land security. It includes the Ghana Army?
It includes the Army and the Navy as well.
Does it start work immediately?
It starts work immediately.
Like today?
It's been commissioned, so it starts work today.
So you have handpicked specific people from these agencies, you've trained them and you put them together?
The agencies are supposed to be together and work for like 3 years. So if you are picked, you work 3 years, and then there'll be changeover. Another person will be trained for 3 years, like that, so that they can work together. But it's a good fusion center. It's a center that Ghana needs.
The United States of America is a key partner in the creation of the Border Security Center. Assistant Secretary of the country's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, Kirsten D. Madison, said the U.S. has so far committed $35 million to Ghana's border security through training and logistics, with another $3 million on the way.
Under the SGI, the United States has provided more than $35 million to strengthen border, maritime, and cybersecurity, as well as to improve the administration of justice. Of that, about $5.3 million of this has specifically gone towards working on border security. And for example, the United States has provided specialized training to the 23 analysts who will staff the Border Fusion Center and help to outfit the facility. The one thing that we can't do from our side is provide the will and the partnership. We need partners who are willing to take whatever resources we can bring to the table and put them to work. And I think that's what's happening here in Ghana. And it's very powerful. And of course, we've done a lot more together. In the past 2 years at the West Africa Regional Training Center, we've trained more than 700 Ghanaian law enforcement and justice sector officials on a range of topics, including border management, criminal investigations, anti-corruption, drug interdiction, and efforts to counter cybercrime.
Issues of inadequate office infrastructure and vehicles characterize the first day official tour of Interior Minister Ambrose Derry to the Upper West region. The Upper West Police Command headquarters, for example, is one of the remnants of the colonial administration which used to serve as district police headquarters. Following the creation of the Upper West Region 37 years ago, it has now been upgraded to the status of a regional police command with no additional facilities, forcing personnel to overcrowd and work under difficult conditions. Deputy Upper West Police Commander ACP Indekugri and Abugri appealed to the Interior Minister to help complete a new regional police headquarters that was started 6 years ago and has been abandoned and overtaken by grass. Rafiq Salam has more.
Interior Minister Ambrose Dere's first point of call was at the office of the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, where he met members of the Upper West Regional Security Council. He commended them for working with the civilian population, who led to the arrest of Burkinabe gunman at a Catholic church service at Hamile.
I think this holistic approach to security shows that the Upper West is unique. However, we know there are still challenges, and we know we still have some work to do to achieve the president's goal, which is to make everybody in Ghana feel safe.
Touching on the Nandam chief imam's dispute, he categorically denied government's interest in whoever becomes the chief imam of the Muslim Ummah in the area.
Religious matters must be dealt with by the believers themselves, not by any other person. In the same way that the government does not interfere in traditional chieftaincy matters.
Interior Minister Ambrose then moved to the Upper West Regional Police Command and interacted with personnel of the service. The Interior Minister and his entourage had an interaction at a newly constructed Pentecost church, which clearly sum up the infrastructural challenges the personnel are grappling with. The cruel reality, however, is that a regional police headquarters building, which was started in 2014, has been abandoned and overtaken by grass. ACP Peter Ndekuru Anaburi is the Deputy Upper West Commander of the Ghana Police Service.
The last command visit at the site a month ago, they are still at the foundation level of the building, and that of the old one is still stagnant at its original stage. We believe that you could use your good office to influence the completion of this project for time.
Interior Minister Ambrose promised to work on the challenges. The issue of inadequate personnel and vehicles pop up when you get closer. DO1 Abraham Dodu is the acting Upper West Commander of the Ghana National Fire Service.
The region also requires jungle motorbikes for community fire safety education. And this has to go with our district fire, rural fire commanders, where our tenders cannot go. At least we need this jungle motorbike. So enter into any hamlet, any community, just to make sure that fire education enters the community. Make sure that we use to train the fire volunteers.
Though the number of incidents of fires recorded has reduced marginally, Interior Minister urged the people to use the example of Gozeroi in the Nondam district that for over 3 decades has not recorded any incidents of fire.
Many of our flagship projects are not going to work if we don't check bushfires. Planting for food and jobs. Then you have bushfires coming and consuming the crops. And it doesn't contribute to any better soil fertility when we allow those bushfires. So first of all, my challenge to you is to work innovative ways of checking that.
Reporting for Dway News, Rafiq Salam.
I'm Israeli. Thank you very much for watching as well. You have a good night.